Hi, I'm Chip Stites, and welcome again to our YouTube channel, The Laughing Retirement. Now, I want to tell you a story about a guy I met. His name was Giulio. He was Italian. His English was non-existent. My Italian wasn't that good. And since there were so many Giulios in the family, his family called him Ancient Giulio. And he was 93 years old when he died. And I went to his funeral, and I went to his 93rd and 92nd birthday party, if you want to kind of dinner out together with some of his friends. And at one point I asked him, what was the one thing that he regretted? And he said, well, I regret not being married. We talked about that for a bit, and it got me to thinking, I know when it comes to life that we regret more the things we didn't do, in his case, not being married, than the things we did do. That tells you something, doesn't it? It tells you a lot about how you ought to live your life. And maybe that experiences in life are very important to us. So I've taken a look around, and I've read a book, actually, about the things we regret. And I want to pass on to you 5 things that people regret not doing, so that you can do those things and you don't have to regret the same things. Imagine living a life without regret. One of the greatest things about retirement is that a retirement is the ultimate do-over. Retirement is the thing that allows you to create things the way you want it, because all of a sudden you've got 40, 50, 60, 70 hours a week that you didn't have before. So let's talk about some of the regrets that people have. And I'm gonna talk about a book here briefly. It's by a lady called Bronnie Ware. It's about the 5 biggest regrets that people have about their life. Number 1 is living their lives to other people's expectations. I want you to think about that for a second. How many times in your life, and I've heard this, how many times in your life have you heard somebody say, oh, you can't make any money as a painter? Oh, you can't make any money singing? Oh, you can't make any money doing this, or we want you to be a lawyer. Our whole family's a lawyer. Everybody in our family is a lawyer. Everybody in our family is a doctor. You need to be a doctor. Rough road to hoe, because all of a sudden you're spending your life doing something you didn't want to do. And we do it. We chase the next job. We chase the bigger paycheck. We get ourselves in a position to buy a bigger house and a bigger car just to keep up with other people. Is that really what we want? I would bet that for most of us, if we literally took the things we love and what we want to do only, our life would be very, very different. Well, in retirement, you have the opportunity to fix that, or to fix most of it, or to make it a part of your life, to fix life the way you want it to be. Number 2, I wish I had. The unfulfilled dreams, or the doing things you didn't want to do because you felt you had to. I wish I had them. I wish I hadn't. Those unfulfilled dreams, those working for other people, those trying to please your boss, that trying to get the bigger car, to look like, to join the country club, it's never ending. You see, there's never a time when the boss is going to come in and say, don't do that much this time. Nah, don't work those extra hours. Listen, I want you to work 30 hours this week, not 60. There'll always be another email. There'll always be another project. There'll always be another time. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Because you see, when you're working hard, you're spending time away from other things that you might be doing, like your family, like your children, like your wife or your husband or your partner. Think about that for just a second. I wish I hadn't worked so hard, or I wish I had. What are the things that you want? If you begin to live in an intentional manner, if you begin to live in a way that makes you feel as though your life is complete, that you are doing what you love all the time, imagine that. That's the opportunity that retirement gives you. You see, when I started to retire, I didn't want to have anything to do with finances. Well, you'll notice on this YouTube sheet, there's some things on finances there. Why is that? The simple answer, I've always loved what I did. I didn't always agree with it as I learned more. And so what I'm doing now is changing that to the things that I believe clients want and need much more than what they're getting today. I'm also living in Italy. I'm also living on Italian time, not your time. I'm also hoisting a glass of wine every day. I'm also eating some of the best food I've ever eaten. I'm also traveling more than I've ever traveled. All of these things have helped me eliminate regrets that I might have otherwise have had. Now, what's number three? Number three, I've already stated in a way. The first one is living to the dreams of other people. The second one is I wish I had, or I wish I hadn't. The third one is I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Because you see, if you live intentionally, you begin to prioritize what's important to you. And the minute you realize how important family is, and that's one of the things I love about Italy, your work takes you away from them. But you say, but I'm working to get the bigger house, the bigger car, the best schools, et cetera, et cetera. Is working to get your kid in the best school, and you'll never know whether or not he or she wants to go where you think they should or do what you think they want you want them to do. You'll never know until the money's there, but the child isn't. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I had. The I wishes. You'll notice that number one is living the way other people wanted you to live, with other people's expectations. Number two is I wish I hadn't, or I wish I had have. Number three is I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish. I wish. Number four is I wish I had have had the courage to express my feelings more. The courage to say how you feel. The courage to believe the things you believe. Let other people believe what they believe, but express yourself. You see, when we suppress how we feel, it comes out in other ways. It comes out in anger, comes out in disease, comes out in frustration, comes out in a myriad of ways. You see, I wish I had the courage to express myself. I wish I hadn't have worked so hard. I wish I had have. Remember ancient Giulio? He wished he had have gotten married. And then there's number 4. Again, I wish I had have kept in better touch with my friends. One of the nicest things about Italy is that the most important thing is family, the second most important thing is friends, and the third most important thing is community. Always all grouped around the same thing, other people. So wish number 4 is, I wish I had kept in better touch with my friends. The only way to do that is to keep in touch with your friends. Pick up the phone. How are you feeling? What are you doing? Tell me about your life. One of the hardest things for me to handle is when I talk to family and they do nothing but talk about themselves. You see, we relate to other people when you ask them what they are doing and how they are feeling, what's important to them. That's why, for some reason, we have 2 ears and only one mouth. It's how we hear versus how we speak. So the next time you want to get to know somebody, ask them how they're doing. Ask them what they're feeling. Ask them what they're thinking. Ask them what they need. That's how you get a friend. That's how you keep a friend. I wish I had have kept in touch with my friends. And if you read any of the books about older people, you know what they value most? Friendship. They value most friendship. And yet one of the biggest regrets of people is that they didn't stay closer to their friends. See how those two go together? As we get older, our friends become more important. And finally, and this one I really like, I wish I had let myself be happier. You see, being happy is a choice. Being happy is a decision we make every day in everything we do. So I'll go back to Dale Carnegie. Every day is a new life to a wise man. The choice to be happy. You can choose to be happy. I don't care what's around you. There are movies, there are books, there are all sorts of things written about it. So I'm going to leave you with that thought. For retirement, eliminate your I wishes. Don't try to please somebody else constantly in your life and in your work. What do you feel? What do you love? Don't wish you had or hadn't have. If you're working too hard, slow down. What do you want? If you can take what you want and do what you believe is right. You know, I have somebody who's very, very close to me. He said, you know what I want to do? I want to paint. We've gotten an easel, we've gotten paints. That's how you start. I want to paint. I wish I had painted. I wish I had taken photography. I decided when I retired that I was going to write and I was going to do photography. Look at the website. I'm writing. I'm actually writing a book about finance. And I'm taking pictures, which I absolutely love to do. Avoid the 5 regrets. Live in an intentional manner towards that which you enjoy. And in retirement, find a way to pass along your best self, because that's your legacy. Avoid the regrets. Create the things you love. Have a good retirement. I'm Chip Stites, creator and founder of The Laughing Retirement. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll join us at the Laughing Retirement community on Facebook. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.